Hello, my name is Dr. Armon. I am the General Chemistry 1 coordinator and also the General Chemistry 1 lab coordinator. So in this little short video, what I'll be explaining is how to access your ALEKS course if you're enrolled in, you're enrolled in General Chemistry 1, 11, Chem 1103. We use ALEKS 360 as a homework platform for the course. So in this short video, I'll show you how to access the course and the first items you need to complete in the course. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So you'll log into your Blackboard course. You'll need to note on the left-hand side the link called ALEKS Link and Info. So you want to click on this link here, and this will direct you to the ALEKS link that we use to connect to the course. So once you click on ALEKS Link and Info, you'll see we have an ALEKS homework link. This is the link used to access your ALEKS accounts, where you'll be completing your ALEKS objectives each week and also complete any ALEKS virtual labs that are assigned for this course. Now make sure if this is your first time logging in or clicking on this ALEKS homework link, you'll be required to register with ALEKS and enter an access code. These access codes can be purchased at the bookstore for you to get the number. So that's what this link here is. And then if we scroll down, we have a detailed list of when each set of ALEKS objectives are due. And as you'll notice, they're all due at 10 p.m. on the stated due date. And so if you're ever curious what objective is due, you can scroll at this schedule here to see which objectives are due on which dates. Then we have the little bit of information on how to set up your ALEKS account, some frequently asked questions from the students, a little introductory video of what to expect when students first log in, which I'll also show you today as well in this short video clip. It also explains knowledge checks because throughout the ALEKS course, you'll be prompted to do a knowledge check after completing so many module objectives. This video explains what they are. We have a video on OpenPy mode. So OpenPy mode is different than module objectives, and this explains what OpenPy mode is. And then we have a video on the ALEKS gradebook as well. So these are all here for you to peruse through if you have any questions on those ALEKS components. So what you'll do is you'll click on the ALEKS homework link, and that'll go through. If this is your first time clicking on that link, you'll have to register, enter in an access code, and then your Blackboard course will be linked to your ALEKS course. Now make sure you always access ALEKS through this ALEKS link on your Blackboard course so that the grades from ALEKS will transfer to the Blackboard course. Just to let you know, grades only transfer from ALEKS to Blackboard after each module objective due date. So the first objective due date is August 29th. This will be the first day that ALEKS will roll over grades, your ALEKS total grade from ALEKS to Blackboard. So again, that would be after August 29th. So you'll click on this link, you'll register. What will be the first things you'll do when you log for the first time? Log in for the first time into ALEKS. So when you log in for the first time, this will pop up. It kind of explains what ALEKS is. ALEKS is your personalized way to learn at your own pace. You can click next. And so here's explaining ALEKS tries to figure out what you know and what you don't know so that it can tailor a learning regimen just for you. So what it does, how ALEKS works is it assesses you, aka knowledge check, then you learn through the module objectives, then it assesses you and another knowledge check, and it does this repeat pattern so that as it keeps on assessing, you you have a mastery in those objectives. So let's go ahead and get started. This is exactly the same thing you'll do when you first log into ALEKS. So here it's going to go through, some explanations about here's the main menu, notifications, and now we're going to uh, get started. So here on the left-hand side of the ALEKS page, usually it'll be something here that will tell you what's the next thing you should be doing in the ALEKS. So right now we're going to take the tools tutorial, and you'll do the exact same thing in ALEKS. So we click, and let's get started with the introduction to ALEKS tools. So in the ALEKS tools, it just wants you to learn how to enter numbers into the keyboard. So type 14, click the clear button, that clears your answer that you entered. Click the undo button, that brings your answer back. Then you click next. And now it wants us to enter in a fraction, so we click on this, we type 2, click on the blue box, 3, click next. And you'll go through this tools tutorial to learn how to use the different functions on the ALEKS platform. So here we need to type a 3 in front of manganese. We click on the blue circle, so it tells us what formatting we need. And so it's just getting us familiar with how to navigate and use the ALEKS tools. Now, since I am an instructor, I can go here and skip the tutorial, but as for students, you would not be able to skip the tutorial. So you'd have to go through it. And if you're curious how long it takes, as you go through it, this bar increases or it fills up. So when it fills entirely up, that means you've completed that portion of the tutorial. So for the interest of time, I'm just going to skip the tutorial. Now only an instructor can do that. And then it goes on, and then once you do that tools tutorial, you'll go through and learn how to use the built-in calculator. Just to let you know, in ALEKS, when it wants you to use the calculator, it'll have an icon in the question so that you have access to the calculator. If no calculator icon is available, that means that you should answer the question without using a calculator. Now again, for the interest of time in this video, I'm just going to skip the tutorial, but you would go through and learn the different functions of the calculator. So once you finish the tutorial, it says congrats your name, you've completed the tools tutorial, and we'll hit continue. So notice after you do the tools tutorial, we've unlocked the initial knowledge check. So we hit continue. So now on the left-hand screen, up next, it shows us we're going to start the initial knowledge check. Now, just a few things about the initial knowledge check. It tries to identify what you know and don't know. So it's okay if you don't know an answer when you're doing the initial knowledge check. You just say, I don't know, and you go on to the next question, because ALEKS is trying to understand what you know and what you don't know to develop a learning regimen specifically for you. Secondly, this should take approximately 1 hour to complete. If it's going to take you more than an hour to complete, you're not doing the initial knowledge check correctly. So initial knowledge check, it gives you a question. Do you know it or do you not know it? And then you go on to the next question. So then again, roughly, this will take about an hour to complete. Now, if a student goes significantly over an hour, they may be required to retake the initial knowledge check. And this is just for your benefit. This initial knowledge check is not for a grade. It's just to understand what you know and what you don't know, so ALEKS can develop a learning uh, a learning schedule, if you want to call it that, for you, for the student. And so there's typically between anywhere from 25 to 30 questions in the initial knowledge check. And again, this is not for a grade. So again, we just want to know what you know and what you don't know starting the course. Again, it should take you approximately 1 hour to complete. So, and every student will do an initial knowledge check after they do the tools tutorial. So that's what we're going to click on next, is start knowledge check. And it's, it has a little pop-up window that says, when you're doing the initial knowledge check, make sure you stay focused, minimize your distractions. So don't have your phone out, don't be texting, don't have YouTube video out while you're doing this initial knowledge check. Make sure you have some scratch paper available and a pencil when you're doing this initial knowledge check. And do not get help from other people, books, or other sources. Again, this is just what you know, what you don't know. And, when you're doing the initial knowledge check, again, approximately an hour, and just try to do your best. If you don't know something, it's okay. ALEKS just wants to know, again, what you know, what you don't know. So we're going to start the knowledge check. And so you'll look at the question. Now over here on the left-hand side, or excuse me, on the right-hand side, we have the tools help. We have any data that you may need, and we have a periodic table. So notice that there's no calculator icon over here. So if there's no calculator icon on the right-hand side, this would indicate that you do not use a calculator to answer this question. So only if there's a calculator icon on the right-hand side would indicate that a calculator can be used to answer the question. So you can get help with the tools. So if you click show me, it'll show you, it'll pop up a window and help you explain how do you write a fraction in ALEKS. So that's the tools help. And we have if there's any data you need, and also periodic table. So let me just answer this question. So it's going to be a math question. So again, you'll solve the question. So this is a fraction. So we'll add a fraction symbol. We'll put in the answer. Oops. Let me undo that. And then you click submit. Now, if you really don't know the answer to this question, you would just click I don't know. But we'll click submit, and then it goes on to the next question. And so again, as you do each question, this bar here will fill up. So once it fills up, you finish your initial knowledge check. And again, the initial knowledge check is roughly 25 to 30 questions. So if you don't know something, you can just click I don't know, and move on to the next question. But only click I don't know if you really don't know how to do the question. Now, for the interest of time in this video, an instructor can skip the initial knowledge check. So that's what I'm going to do, just to show you what will come up after you've completed the initial knowledge check. So you'll go through, answer those questions, and then once you finish the initial knowledge check, you'll get this screen here that says, nice job, your name, here are your results. And so it tells you that out of the 173 topics in this course with the initial knowledge check, you have mastered 22 topics. And that's okay, because you're starting the course. It's not expected that a student will know all the topics in the course. So this is a good starting point for ALEKS to develop a study regimen for you. So again, this is what you see after the initial knowledge check. So it tells you in each different topic how many topics you have left to learn in it. So if you click on measurements and matter, there's 27 topics total. We've mastered 7 in the initial knowledge check. We have 20 more to do. So then you would click continue. And now again, when you're at the ALEKS page, you can click start my path, and that'll tell you what you can do next. So here on start my path, it says what's up next is the prerequisite review. There's a total of 46 topics from the initial knowledge check. We mastered 17, so we have 29 topics left. It tells you the due date when you should have learned all the topics, and then you can click start my path. Now, other things you can look at on the main page before we click start my path is, this is the ALEKS pie, which tells you how many topics you've mastered and learned and how many remain. It's like a pie chart. If you click on the timeline will show you, how long you've spent in ALEKS and also what you did. So far, if you click on it, we did a knowledge check. We haven't learned any topics. So as you spend time on ALEKS, you learn a topic, it'll tell you how many topics you've learned and how long you've spent in ALEKS. So you can get that from the timeline page. ALEKS Pie tells you overall how many topics you've mastered, how many you've learned, how many are remaining. So when you're ready to do some work, you can click Start My Path, and ALEKS will direct you to what topic you need to learn first. So first it's going to do prerequisites, which involve math. So again, you would go through, answer the question, and then as you answer the question, this bar will fill up. And when you get 3 questions in a row correct, you can move on to the next topic. Now, bear in mind that each question you get is not going to be the same question with different numbers. It's going to be a completely different question. So let's see here. 7 times 9. 7 times. Yes. And then you would click check. And you got it right. So see this bar here, it got green. And then you go to next. And it'll give you another question about this topic. Now this one, I'm just going to randomly pick answers just to show you what happens when you get it wrong. And you click check. And you got it wrong. So see the bar went back down. So we have to try again. So with ALEKS, you have to get 3 of these questions correct to move on to the next topic. Now, if you really don't know how to do the question, you can click on the explanation, and it'll give you an explanation of how to work out the problem. And you can get more practice as well. So again, that's something you can do. If you don't know a topic, you can click on the explanation and it'll explain how you can complete, or how to you answer the topic. And then this is a list of topics that you can work on. ALEKS suggests to start with this topic, identifying solutions to linear equations in one variable. You can also, if you don't want to start with that one, you want to click on this one, Introduction to Power of the Product Rule of Exponents. You can. So you can do either one of these topics. But if you want to solve a multi-step equation, this one is locked until you've mastered or learned, until you've learned these two topics. So once you learn these two topics, this topic will unlock for you to learn. And so that's how ALEKS works. Now let me go back to the main page to show you a few other items. So again, up next is a good way to know what you need to do next in ALEKS. Just say continue my path, and ALEKS will guide you as to what you need to learn next. And there are some other things too. If you click on the 3 bars here, we have learn, review, assignments, calendar, which shows you the different module dates. The grade book you can click on. You can click on the textbook, so you can go to the ebook as well. So if you click on learn will take you into, again, these topics that you need to learn on ALEKS. So that's what learn does. A review will take you to a topic that that you've already learned, but you want to review that more often. So let's say if the prereq objectives are due on August 29th, I believe, or whenever the prereq objectives are due. If you finish all of them before the due date, you can go back and review these topics to strengthen your chemistry skills. And then we have assignments. So assignment list will show you what assignments are coming up. So right now it's the prereq review. And after you do the prereq review, there's a post knowledge check. So again, these are the different menu options you have on ALEKS. You click on calendar, it'll show you, again, we go to 2 weeks, August 29th. Here the prereq review is due. So that's the calendar. You can get the due dates for it. But again, if you just go to home and see what ALEKS has in store for you next, you just say up next, continue my path. And that's a good way to work on ALEKS. Now, we recommend that you spend at least 31 minutes a day on ALEKS and learn at least one topic. By doing ALEKS every day, you learn and retain better than trying to wait to the due dates to do ALEKS. So again, I hope this video was a good introduction as to what to expect when you first log into ALEKS. So again, from Blackboard, you'll access the ALEKS course under the ALEKS link and info menu tab on Blackboard. Second, you'll need an access code to enter to register for ALEKS. Once you get into ALEKS, you'll do a tools tutorial. Then you'll start your initial knowledge check. And then after you do your initial knowledge check, you can start learning ALEKS objectives. So until next time, that's Dr. Armand signing off.